All right, with me now, Danielle Moody Mills, host of the SiriusXM radio show Woke AF, and Reverend Mark Thompson, host of the Make It Plain podcast. Great to have both of you with us. Danielle, let me begin with you. From 30,000 feet, this looks like chaos. Is it?
It is chaos, and I would imagine that if I were inside of the White House, that's exactly how it would feel. I mean, the reality is that Trump has lied himself into the White House. He has lied himself into this situation, and there's only so long that you can keep something going before it begins to unravel. And what he sold us is that he was a businessman, that he was the art of the deal, that he could do no wrong. And what we know is that since he's been in office, that we have started to trend downward. And so the trade war that he is doing right now with China, it is hurting the very people that he said that he was going into the White House to help. And that is problematic because there's only so much pain, according to Lindsey Graham, that people are willing to take.
Yeah, we're going to talk a little bit more about the farmers and those that are affected by the trade war later on in the show. But I'm curious to get your thoughts because Anthony Scaramucci, who served, albeit briefly, in this administration, was a loyal and fierce defender of this president even before he got into the White House. He is now talking about trying to get people to invoke the 25th Amendment to remove this man from office. What does that in of itself say?
Well, it says that a former supporter now agrees with many of us that he's not well. He's unstable. He's all over the place. He's exploiting his own wife, the first lady, to solicit some type of solidarity with a crazy dictator, saying they met and they never did. He doesn't know the difference between England and United Kingdom. He said on yesterday that Barack Obama lost the Ukraine.
Yeah.
Yep.
What is he talking about? He doesn't understand climate change. And even fundamentally, and I know you're going to get to farmers, if I need the farmers' votes, why would I do anything to hurt them? So he's even harmful to himself. So 25th Amendment, whatever it takes, and I know if Scaramucci can talk about the 25th Amendment, Democrats need not to give up on talking about impeachment.
Let me read you guys how the New York Times has been describing Trump today. The way he negotiates at times involves facts that may not be facts, statements that may not have been said, and episodes that may not have occurred. And at times he denied saying what he actually said.
He's delusional.
I mean, I'm curious to get your thoughts because he's also gone on the record saying that he got a call from China that China wants to negotiate. No Chinese official has come out to confirm that report. So how does anyone navigate this landscape when you have a president who is, as you're saying, delusional?
He is absolutely delusional. And you heard Mnuchin had to walk back that statement where he said that he got a call from China and he said, oh, we're in discussions, which I guess could be emails, I guess could be text messages. But the idea is that the president has created this crazy reality, this alternate universe that he is living in where facts don't matter and the statements that he's making no one can verify. And the idea is that he continues to do this and he's pushing us further and further into this trade war by trying to puff out his chest at the G7 and saying, I'm in talks with China. No, you're not. Like, no one is verifying this. And the fact is that we need to continue to call it out because it does look like he's incredibly unstable.
Let me talk to you guys about the reporting NBC has today that the president is directing some funds away from FEMA and disaster relief towards his immigration policy. Talk to me a little bit about the messaging that is sending. You've got a Hurricane Dorian, heading towards possibly even hitting Puerto Rico, a territory that is still ravaged and still suffering from last year's hurricane. And now you've got the president diverting funds that could be helping people to implement his immigration policy.
Well, again, the clinical delusion. He obviously binged, watched Sharknado over the weekend.
And nukes.
Right. And so he can use that money because he's got the army and they're going to send nukes to fight the hurricanes. So, yeah, I mean, none of that makes any sense, but that's what he does. It's become a cliche because we've always said, you know, it's like he's in a reality show. But he really, really is, because that's what you do on reality shows. It's not a real thing, but you kind of ad-lib and go. It's not even really scripted.
It's scripted.
Right.
It's scripted reality.
And on his show, you know, he was really a make-believe CEO because we know he doesn't do anything.
Yeah.
So he's a make-believe president acting at it and just saying whatever he wants to say. His obsession with immigration is rooted in his xenophobia and racism. Now, tomorrow is the anniversary of Dr. King's I Have a Dream speech. And he is the opposite of what Dr. King stood for. When Dr. King said, you know, little black boys and girls, little white, I have a dream, little black boys and girls, or white boys and girls will walk together. Donald Trump's dream is that little brown boys and little brown girls will be separated from their parents. That's not anything that we need in America right now, and it is further dividing this country. And it's about time, I pray, that those who have supported him thus far will wake up and realize this is not the way we need to go.
Let me get your thoughts on this really quickly, Danielle. The Hill reporting that Republicans on the Hill are nervous. They want to try to create a bit of a firewall for the Senate come 2020 because they know that this White House is in serious jeopardy of falling to the Democrats. How concerned should they be that this president could go down, could even take down the Senate with them?
He's going to take down the Republican Party with him, and they need to be very concerned about that. Those people who keep having conversations in private that we keep hearing about in reports, oh, we've talked to some Republicans in private, and they really disagree with the president on immigration, on climate change, on all of these things, but nobody is saying it publicly. And frankly, the American public is starting to recognize that Mitch McConnell is the reason why we don't have sensible gun reform, why we don't have a lot of things that we could, because the House has passed over 140 pieces of legislation that have died on arrival at the Senate because of Mitch McConnell. So it's between Mitch McConnell and Donald Trump will bring down this party, and they need to figure out whether or not they want to remain in power or they want to rebuild themselves post-Trump.